What's up, you guys? Y'all know we're already back for another great episode of Or Clickbait, and I'm your girl, Doechii.
And I'm your boy, Dante.
And y'all already know we take the hottest headlines in music, sports, and entertainment, and we determine whether it's for the culture
or simply just for clicks.
Ooh, Dante, I ain't got no nails today, so
You ain't got no nails, but you got my snap.
Dude, clicks. Love that, love that, love that. We had the improv for today.
Hey.
Now, we just came off of a good week, you know what I'm saying? Dante, how was your weekend?
My weekend was actually pretty good. I didn't do a whole lot. It was, I went back home for a funeral, but I made good with it because I also went to Art Basel.
Yeah.
Art Basel was actually really, really good this year. This probably was the most fun I had at Art Basel in a while. Went to the LVMH house. They had like a event with Puma and BMI.
Saw that.
It was actually really good. Seven Streeter performed.
Ooh.
And she did amazing. That was my first time ever experiencing Seven in person.
Don't she sound just like her
music?
music?
Sounds like her record.
Oh my God, straight off the track, like
she sounds
amazing.
literally just like her record.
Mm-hmm.
So that was phenomenal to see. I went to a Tesla event as well. That was pretty dope. So I had a pretty good weekend. Minus the emotional side, it was a pretty good weekend.
Yeah, definitely our condolences to you. And it sounded like you were able to find some enjoyment in the weekend one way or another. So we love that for you.
What about yours?
Big Mama took a load off this weekend, and I just relaxed, honestly, tried to recuperate mentally and physically, just preparing for the ending of the year, as well as the ending of our season, as this is our second to last episode before we wrap it up.
Tear.
No, seriously, I feel like we
worked
just
hard.
Got here. That too, and we worked hard. I feel like we worked hard. Like we were really actively trying to get some things knocked off our to-do list that I feel like I can say with my head held high and my chest out that we did it.
I think we did it too.
And currently doing it as we speak.
But that makes me more excited about the new year.
For sure.
Because now that we're ending, of course, new year means, what they say, new year, new me?
That's what the people say.
Bop.
What Auntie Tia do? The little lick.
That's how she did it?
Yeah, the little lick with the shake. Y'all just lay round for it. 2025, we on y'all ass.
Well, speaking of weekend, this weekend was also filled with a lot of different headlines.
Mm-hmm.
One in particular is Jay-Z. So recently in headlines, Jay-Z was actually filed a lawsuit against by a Jane Doe, stating that he raped him and allegedly Diddy was a part of a rape of a 13-year-old girl. Now, Jay-Z did respond to this allegation in very quick time as well.
Very.
Might I add, which is
like 30 minutes.
Exactly, very commendable. Stating that, one, this is some heinous things to say. Mm-hmm. It's not true. And he also asked that if it is true, if you feel like this is such a case, then let's file a criminal suit and not a civil suit, because what it seems as though is somebody who's just looking for money.
Yeah.
Honestly, my take, feels like somebody's looking for money, not justice.
Yeah.
Because if this was really a serious matter, let's go ahead and address it as such.
I 1,000% agree. I'm kind of tired of all the civil cases coming out. And granted, this is not to victim shame or anything like that. I just feel like if a real crime was done, why aren't we going criminal? Mm-hmm. So I agree from that end. And I just feel like this is one of those stories that we have to see what happens around this, right? I do think that the industry right now is in like an all high climate of trying to, I guess, catch people doing things that they shouldn't be doing or things that's morally wrong or things that could be criminal. But I also feel like there is some gray space in these things because granted, there are a couple of things to unpack here. Like if a 13-year-old was abused at this point, where are the parents and why aren't they being mentioned in any way, shape, or form? Because I can tell you that my parents wouldn't have left me as a 13-year-old with no grown people by myself, no monitoring, nobody there that they can directly trust. It's not going down for Delia and Derek. So I don't know. But Dante, do you think that this is a culture thing or this is a clickbait thing?
I think in the eyes of the situation itself, it is a cultural conversation.
For sure.
Because it does take us to a deeper conversation that needs to be unpacked. But as far as the case itself, it's definitely clickbait.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like this is literally a reach.
Yeah.
But you know what? If it's not, if there's truth to it, let's present that.
Yeah.
Because I'm all about the facts. If it's factual, present it.
Yeah.
I just, I don't want to get too far away from people who are actually victims out here.
Right.
And we just continuing a trend now to just pull people down because it seems cool or it seems like they're not going to do anything about it.
Yeah. And we know how trendy stuff gets, and it's just simply might be trendy to take down some top dogs right now.
Exactly.
Again, not taking away from anybody who is a real victim. But I agree with your take on this.
So in other news, Candace Owens just recently sat down with Nick Cannon for a very candid conversation. And when I tell you, Daysha, the conversation got real. Candace Owens went in with Nick Cannon. Now, Nick Cannon also had his respect for rebuttals as well.
Mm-hmm.
And the conversation was, very good as in the sense of debate.
Yeah.
Because Nick Cannon came from like the opposing side while also giving Candace a chance to kind of state where her stance is in the world and how she feels because, a lot of people don't like her.
Yeah.
She's looked as like the enemy who just talks too much.
Yeah.
But, after watching the interview, and I'll say this very loosely, I don't dislike Candace, and I never have. I've always felt like she pushed the envelope on certain things that she said. But from that conversation that she recently had, it helped me understand as well, there's some good in that.
Yeah.
Because you got to understand her seat in the world, right? Where she sits at the table. There's a lot of things she's been exposed to that she knows that's happening.
For sure.
And so she knows that a lot of the systematic approaches that's happening behind the scenes, and that's what she speaks on. Now, people, as she also said in the interview with Nick Cannon, people don't like the truth.
Yeah.
So when people hear the truth, they tend to run away from it or count you as the bad guy. And that creates the issue.
For sure.
Because one of the things that they talked about was just like objective biases within the society, such as they had a conversation within the interview where she spoke about Nick Cannon was basically saying that you can't tell somebody that they're wrong for living their life if they make them happy.
Right.
Right. And the example was about, the trans community.
For sure.
And he said, if they're happy with that, that's fine. And because that's what they believe. And her rebuttal was, well, if that's the case, let's take it and use this other example. There are people who said that they're attracted to minors.
Right.
And if they believe that to be true, do you let them live their life or do you call them a pedophile?
Yeah, and Nick was stunned.
Right. Does the rules change?
Yeah.
So I definitely had some good things to say about Candace from this interview. I'm not gonna lie.
Me too. So I think that Candace gets a lot of pushback because she's more practical and logical when it comes to her thought process on things, which when you think of a woman being those two things, they're very far detached in a lot of people's mind because we are the ones that usually move with more emotion and or feeling. And I think that it was interesting to sort of kind of see Nick being the person that had that stance and Candace more so having the mentality that would seem a little bit more masculine. But she had some valid points to a lot of the stuff that she was saying. And a lot of the time we approach, and I could say we because I am sort of kind of one of these people, lock-in twins. We sometimes approach certain conversations a little bit more emotionally driven when the answer is just very simple, logical, and practical.
Right, it's cut and dry. It's black and white.
Yeah, for sure. Some stuff genuinely is. And as we saw in that interview, Candace laid out some of the things that are just simply black and white in that interview.
Like she made so much sense when she said, because her rebuttal to Nick was, so are you saying everything in the world is subjective? And if it is, that is a problem. Because if everything that we look at in the world is subjective, that means there's no real right or wrong. What is the standard?
Right, which then takes you to something even bigger, like sociology doesn't exist then.
Exactly.
Because that's basically what sociology is, you know what I'm saying? It gives all of the basic everyday things and
how we move through
identity,
life.
Yes.
Right.
So if everything is subjective and doesn't have a place to live and or have an identity, then that just leave the whole world in a big ass gray space.
Right, they can just do whatever you want. It's a free for all.
Yeah. So I mean, it just sounds like to me that she was basically trying to get everybody to unlearn some of the societal norms that we're able to push coming from a place of being driven by like your emotions and feelings versus logic. So I ain't mad at it.
If you ask me, this conversation was definitely a conversation for the culture.
1,000%. Now, Dante, I don't know if you saw, but Doechii had her Tiny Desk performance, and we have been talking about Doechii. We have been keeping our eyes on Doechii, and even if we look away, something brings us right back to her, like this Tiny Desk performance.
You know, her performance was great.
Amazing.
Like, when I watched it, I like how she made, her album is almost a rap album, by the way. How she was able to turn that into this very eclectic, weird, but dope to watch Tiny Desk situation. And of course, you know, she had her little twin minions behind her. I don't mean that in no bad way. I think it's just dope that she had them right behind her and they was like doing the same movements and the vocal. Just her character, everything about Doechii for some reason to me has captivated me in these last few months.
Yeah.
And I'm saying like this, Doechii would be somebody to watch in 2025. I think she's had a good 2024, but 2025 is going to be another great year for her, especially because she's about to get ready to drop yet another album.
Yeah, for sure. With this performance, I think that, like you said, she Doechii-fied it. Basically, that's basically what you just said. Like, she came in and made everybody come into her world in something that's already staged and set up, which sometimes is hard to do, right? Because you need all of these different aesthetics and you need stuff staged a certain kind of way to kind of bring people into your world. So the fact that she was able to take a rap album and like a rap album, like a real creative album where I'm not gonna even lie, we can even also open up like a whole new bracket in reference to Doechii. Like, what is it called? I don't know. Right now, we could just put like 3 question marks on top of it.
The weird girl.
Yeah, like I don't know. And who's to say it's weird, right? No, seriously,
weird in a
because
good way,
weird,
though. Weird in a good way.
I know Candace would cringe hearing this, but weird is subjective, right? It sort of kind of is until it's just directly weird. But Doechii is the epitome of an artist.
She's what we like to see in an artist.
Yes.
She's authentic, she's herself, she's original, and she's not like anybody else.
No, she's not. And something that I love is like, you know how sometimes when you listen to artists, you can kind of like place where they come from? Doechii is from Florida, Tampa, Florida to be exact.
And we don't know that.
You cannot tell that. Doechii does not have like that Florida vibe and or feel to her music, which could box in an artist.
Miss Swamp Princess.
Yeah, like it could box in an artist simply because that sound, that South Florida sound, is for a particular ear.
No, definitely. That's why a lot of Florida artists get stuck in Florida.
Usually, and Doechii is so broad of an artist. Like, she can do so much. And I just feel like this Tiny Desk performance just showed us in a very small setting how much she can really do, how much range she really have, and how great she can really be. So I'm excited to see what happens with Doechii. Y'all, we said some other girls was the girls to watch. Doechii is the real rap girl to watch. These other girls, they make music. Doechii, rap.
Doechii makes art.
Hello. All right, you guys. So Fat Joe, or should I say not so Fat Joe, because he has started his Ozempic journey and has lost 200 pounds.
Let's go Zempy.
Yeah, which we're excited about the weight loss, right? Because this is always good for health purposes. So big up Joe for that. But the conversation around his weight loss per fans has been, will Fat Joe change his name? Will he drop the fat and just simply be Joe?
Hell no.
Yeah, no. I don't think so either. Like, and Fat Joe made it clear as well, like, it's not happening. I am Fat Joe.
Right, because, I mean, think about it. Fat Joe and his team has put so much money and time and energy into creating the persona of Fat Joe.
Yeah.
And not even a persona, who he is, his whole identity, Fat Joe. You take away the fat, and who is he? Just Joe? That's an R&B singer.
Yeah, very much black, bald, and thin. Not the Fat Joe I know.
But I do think this is a good thing for him as far as just like his own health journey.
Yeah.
Because, you know, he spoke about in the recent interview with Big Boy how seeing Big Pun die, and because of his health complications, and then another friend of his died right after for the same exact situation, made him want to take his health and his weight a lot more serious.
Yeah.
So I actually commend him on that. But like we said, you're gonna continue to be Fat Joe forever.
Yeah, Fat Joe all the way till the wheels fall off, and that's just that. Now, I'm gonna say for this, I think that the conversation about taking your health serious is a cultural conversation. For whatever reason right now, Ozempic, which is not a weight loss freaking supplement or nothing like that.
Please be careful with
it's
that.
It's not for weight loss. But something about Ozempic is cultural right now too. We have to, it just simply is. It's like the new wake up now. Like the new little
wake
Ponzi
up now. I ain't heard that
scheme
in so
or something.
long.
Nah, for real. It's like a new like scheme or whatever that actually works for people. So I would say those things are for the culture. Now, granted, the conversation about will Fat Joe drop the fat is clickbait to me. Like, I feel like people are allowed to maximize off of like using the word fat or little or whatever that is when creating a brands and stuff like that. Because if it's a part of you, it's a part of you. I'm gonna always be Fat Joe even when I'm the skinny version. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the introduction to you guys. That's my foundation to you guys. So we can never undo that.
And you know, they compared it to Young Jeezy, how Young Jeezy dropped the Young and became Jeezy. But I think the situation is different because he is Fat Joe.
Yeah.
You know, that's an identity. Young Jeezy could be Jeezy without the Young.
And
it could
then
be the same person.
How much he weighed after the 200? Because if he still is like 2 something, he's still Fat Joe.
I don't know if that was meant to be funny,
is.
but it was.
He is, though. That's the thing. Like, he still is. So, I don't know.
But I'm with you, though. This is definitely a clickbait conversation, but the idea of health is cultural.
For sure.
That's something that'll never go out. We always need to talk about that.
Yep.
We can't talk about entertainment news without talking about the box office. Now, 2 movies this past weekend specifically are doing really, really good at the box office. We have Wicked and Moana 2. Moana 2 with $53.4 million within gross sales within this past weekend alone.
Wow.
And then Wicked coming in right behind it with $34 million. Now, if you ask me, I think that is great because these are 2 movies, one, I didn't expect to do that well, but Moana, my niece likes Moana, so I can see that. Now, you know, I am a kid at heart. I'm very nostalgic. The kid in me did go to see Wicked.
I haven't seen it. I want to see it.
Now, but let me put you on game though. Me going to see Wicked this weekend showed me something that I didn't expect to see, which is all these years of The Wizard of Oz. I thought,
You finna spoil it.
I'm not gonna spoil it.
Oh, okay.
But I gotta get it off my chest.
Tell the people.
All these years, I thought Glinda was the nice witch. She's the fucking of the whole movie.
She's the second letter after A ends with an itch.
Right. She is actually the culprit. Basically, what she did all this time after watching Wicked, I noticed that one, Wicked Witch of the West was never even evil. She was the nice person.
Clock it.
She was nice. Glinda, the Wicked Witch of the East, she always was the one that was conniving, manipulative, and very sneaky. Like, you got your powers from this person, and then you casted them out as the enemy and turned the entire city against them, you along with the Wizard of Oz himself, who is also clearly another bad guy in this situation. Not as though we thought he was the good guy.
Yeah.
So it's like a whole turn of events. You find out the Wicked Witch and her sister, the one who died with their house getting put on top of her, were actually the 2 nicest people in the freaking movie.
Yeah.
You know, even the fact that Glinda knew this whole movie that all Dorothy had to do was tap her heels and go home. You let her do your dirty work and wait till the end of the movie to say, "You could have always went home, Dorothy."
I would have slapped her. Like, girl, I've been trying to go home this whole time.
What you did was use her to do your dirty work. You got rid of Oz, you killed the Wicked Witch of the West and the Wicked Witch of the East, and you stole her mama's shoes and gave them to Dorothy because those shoes belong to the witch's mother, Wicked's mom.
And this supposed to be the good one?
Exactly. Turn of events. So if you haven't watched Wicked, I would tell you to go watch it because it was actually worth the watch for me.
Now
but that's the kid in me.
No, I'm here for it because I'm the same way. I love me a good kid movie. I have not seen Wicked, but I will tune in to see it because we love us a good fable that teaches us a good lesson through some fictional characters. So I'm here for it, right? Because it just sounds like that you basically just said everything that glitter ain't gold. And everything that start out, well, all villains have a origin story where they started out good and with purpose, and at some point along their journey, they got lost. So I think that sounds like it's some cool morals and lessons inside this.
And they got a
that
part 2
particular
coming.
movie.
They've already started shooting it, by the way.
I know that's right.
Part 2 is supposed to go in depth of the other witches and Dorothy's origin.
Okay.
So Wizard of Oz talks a little bit about Dorothy and like her character in the whole situation, but it didn't go in detail. So these new versions and parts that's coming out is gonna go into each origin of all the characters. So I look forward to actually seeing this because the kid in me is going crazy.
Yeah. So would you say, is this for the culture for you, or would this be clickbait?
I think these are both movies are for the culture. I didn't go see Moana, but like I say, my niece loves Moana. So I'm gonna say Moana for the culture, but definitely Wicked. Wicked is for the culture. If you haven't seen Wicked, I'm telling you to go see it. It's a watch.
Okay, I'm definitely gonna go tune in to Wicked. Netflix premiered a new comedy special for Jamie Foxx called What Had Happened Was. And in this, Jamie talks about his health scare experience and also all the allegations around Diddy allegedly being somebody who had something to do with it. So, yeah.
I didn't watch it yet, but I did see a few clips. I'm glad that, and I can appreciate the fact that he came out and talked more about that situation when he had got really, really sick. He said he really saw the tunnel. He said he didn't see the light, he saw the tunnel.
Well, baby, what's the difference? They all sound too close to the escalator to heaven.
He made sure to let us know, yeah, he had a near-death experience and he saw himself going out of here, but he hadn't saw the light. I'm guessing when you see the light, that means you on your way out. He just saw the tunnel.
Okay.
So he saw that if he laid there longer, the answers was gonna be
It would have been the light. Got it.
Now, he did also state that Diddy had nothing to do with it. He made sure that he put it into those rumors because he felt like as though, one, he said if Diddy had anything to do with it, he would be dead by now. And he's not.
My boy said, I ain't no second letter after A and ends with an itch. That's going to be my new little hit for every time I'm trying to curse.
Second letter after A, I like that. I'm going to use
with an
that.
itch. You do the math.
But I actually want to go ahead and watch the Netflix series. I do feel like this is something worth a watch because it's been getting a lot of good reviews online.
Yeah.
So I do think it's something to watch. Like I said, I haven't seen it. I just been doing a lot of reading up on it and watching some of the clips that have been being posted online.
So I haven't watched it myself, but what I can say is, based upon seeing the clips and stuff, I feel like this is going to be one of those moments where Jamie is going to find a way to be vulnerable through his comedy, right? So this is a form of his therapy as a comedian, for him to be on stage and for him to be addressing some of these things that were in the public eye where everybody had these major questions and or concerns, because something like bleeding from the brain is not a simple or light thing.
Right.
That is very serious, you know? And right now, any allegations or anything surrounding Diddy or any affiliation with him right now can be very serious again. So I think that this is gonna be the perfect platform for him to give us vulnerability through a comedic place, right? I always tell people that there's therapy in the laughter and there's therapy in the comedy that people provide you. So I feel like that is exactly what this is gonna be. What I can say is, Jamie, get in the booth, baby.
Quiet as it kept.
Get in the booth.
I'm glad he back on stage. I actually love Jamie Foxx as a comedian. That was one of my favorite shows.
But Jamie Foxx was literally one of the, I think the best way to describe him is like how we was talking about how LL has paved the way for rappers and like the lover boy vibe, and Will Smith creating a lane for rappers to kind of like be actors and rappers and stuff. And I just really feel like he is another person that is a triple threat. He can do everything, and he does each of them equally as well. Like he doesn't dabble in each, like he thoroughly knows how to write, how to sing, how to perform, how to be a comedian, a producer, a director. Like Jamie knows how to do so much, and we low-key got to see how much he know how to do within his Jamie Foxx sitcom.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because even with his
He used
job,
to always perform.
yep,
on
and he
there.
used to write jingles in the job. So that show kind of just showed us all the different areas that Jamie can roll over into. And I just feel like whatever you do, roll over into the booth and make some music.
Now, what I'm gonna tell you though, what I like about that, because you just spoke on something. So what I like about the whole fact that in his past show, Jamie Foxx, let's go fast forward really quick in today's time where we talk about branding, right? And always never getting away from your true art or the idea of incorporating your art into your work. He did that perfectly with the show, Jamie Foxx Show.
Yeah.
Because yes, he's a comedian, but his primary thing was also music. So in his character, he sang.
Yep.
He wrote music
Yep.
and did all of these things as his character on show. And of course, it makes it even better the fact that he went by his actual real name. Now, entertainment-wise, we do know back in those days, the reason for that is mainly because if you're a big star on a sitcom like that every day, to keep the branding consistent,
Yeah.
they try not to get you away from your actual name. So it was Jamie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that was a pretty good thing to see from him. It shows his versatility, and now we fast forward today, he can still be that same person because that's what we know him for. And so I want to see him on stage as a comedian again.
Same.
It made me think back to his performance with Fantasia when they did that kiss.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
That was kind of lit.
I'm happy for the return to comedy again. R&B is making its way right back in, and what is R&B without Jamie?
Favorite song?
Oh no, that's hard. Overdose, like just it's too many. It's too many. I used to listen to Jamie like on YouTube. His little Mary, Mary, quite contrary. How does your garden grow? No, like I used to be on YouTube listening to Jamie, just like stuff that he just decided to do. Not even like actual songs or nothing like that. Just little medleys that he would do in between his concerts and just certain stuff. So that's why I'm like getting the booth.
Mine was Love Song and Liquor. Same it on the Henny.
He had a run musically,
I'm
bro.
talking about liquor.
Which
Blame it on
is
alcohol.
why. Oh, true. He had a run musically, which is why I'm an advocate for. We want to hear the vulnerability in the booth too, baby. Tell us about the tunnel in the booth.
I would definitely say that is definitely for the culture for me. I love hearing the updates on Jamie Foxx's health and the breakthrough he had from it.
Yes, I agree. This is definitely for the culture, and it will be even cultural if you got in the booth.
New things for your playlist. Smino just dropped his new album, Maybe in Nirvana. Now, you might not know who Smino is. He's a St. Louis rapper. He's been out for some time now, but he's got this very like New Orleans type style music. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm really, really messing with it. It's a style all of his own. I also look at him as like a Doechii almost as well.
Okay.
Because he does, I'm not gonna say he does the same type of music as Doechii, but it has those elements of uniqueness that nobody else is doing. So yeah, he just dropped his new album, and then you have NBA YoungBoy, I Just Got a Lot on My Shoulders, that just dropped this past weekend. So I think music is doing really, really good right now. I know you got some new music as well that came out.
Yes, we also have Khalid with Sincere Deluxe that came out as well.
It was great.
Yes, yeah. So I'm a Khalid girl, right? Like his song Right Back, On the Way. Like it's just certain songs that when I think about him, I can say that I am somebody that gives him his streams, right? So
and Khalid never misses with the features.
No, he don't.
He got
think
Chloe,
he does a good job.
He got Normani, Era Star. I
Yeah.
actually love the record with Era Star.
Yeah.
By the way.
So I'm excited about this, and all of this coming about after his whole little debacle with
That
his
what came and
sexuality.
gone.
It very much gave clickbait with the intent to drive us
Can we please? Because I was gonna
to
say
this
that.
album.
I never felt like that was authentic.
Clock it.
Because what I felt is though, and Khalid, I know y'all watching, and I want you to hear this anyway. I felt like it was very convenient that this whole leak came out,
Very timely.
before we even knew you had a new album coming, by the way, it tells me as a marketer, y'all waited too long to market and needed something that was gonna get people attention really, really fast.
Yeah.
And it's one of those situations where it's not like, and this is, you know, I don't think it was like people in his inner circle didn't know.
Yeah.
So it made it easy to just go along with the story.
Yeah.
Make it seem like it was a show, and then boom, next week your album is here.
They literally.
And now we're talking about Khalid.
Yeah, I just feel like I agree. I think that it was definitely a rollout thing. I don't think nobody was questioning or bought into question his sexuality to begin with. I don't even think nobody was thinking about that angle when it came to him in no way, shape, or form, right?
Look at when it came out. How long did we really talk about it?
For 2 seconds,
hours?
for sure.
Barely.
But it was one of those things as well that like, it just came out in a timely fashion, but it also didn't make sense as to why it was there. And then we drop an album and this creates the whole sense that we needed to be there from the beginning, because it was like, what are we talking about?
Like, this is random.
Yeah, like what?
This is a random topic.
I don't think none of us cared or even thought about him in that angle, but I mean,
did we really care about his love life that much?
But we do know one of the things that's going to get the people going, and we could say this is a fact at this point, is to bring into question what a person does in their private life.
True.
And with their sexuality at this point. So they knew that would get the people going. But Dante, it's some more stuff going on music-wise.
Yes, and you know I'm excited.
Go ahead, let the people know.
Dun dun dun. SZA. SZA has dropped a teaser for her new single, Lana, that's gonna be on the deluxe album of SOS. The new single actually samples the Isley Brothers. So I am very, very, very happy to see that SZA is dropping the album before the new year.
Yeah.
Because she told y'all was gonna do it, but y'all don't wanna believe it.
I'm happy about that for SZA too. Something that I'm not that happy about. Y'all don't drag me, but also if you need to, do as you please. I fight back. Nonetheless,
what I don't know where you're going with this. This is a no SZA hate zone.
No, I don't hate SZA. I actually love SZA to the end of the world and back type of thing. But I think she's having a good run with doing samples, right? I think she's doing a good job, and everybody that has been working with her has been doing a good job of choosing the samples to put her on. But I am also a little over it, over the samples to a certain extent. And that's just because I don't want her to get too comfortable being in that box of doing samples for real, for real. And when we think about some of the last catchy things that she put out that has kept people's attention, it has been around samples. I just don't want her caught up in that. I don't want her caught up in that because she has the talent to not be. Now, don't get me wrong, she takes these samples up a notch for me, for sure. Do I have all of the songs on my phone? 9 out of 10. And I'm listening to them. I just, again, don't want that to be somewhere that she get caught or stuck.
I could definitely see how you can say that.
Or comfortable.
Because it is easy to kind of get stuck in that box once you see that the samples actually work for you.
Yeah.
Versus like, if your sample records are streaming better than your original records, a lot of artists do get stuck in that box. So I can see why you say an artist like her, you don't want her to get stuck there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Luckily, I don't feel like SZA will get stuck there.
I hope not.
I just don't think, I don't think TDE will allow her to get stuck there either. But I don't think her herself creatively will allow herself to get stuck there.
Yeah, which shout out to TDE
because they got everybody right now.
Their roster right now is
we just talked about Kendrick, then we got Doechii, and then SZA again.
TDE call us at this point.
Y'all know I can sing a little bit, rap a little bit,
oh
dance
God,
a little bit.
Here we go.
I'm multi-talented.
Here we go. Back to Dante.
Punch, call me.
Oh my God.
I need a deal.
No, I know we said everything surrounding music right now is definitely for the culture, but we have to talk about some more cultural stuff because we have Future who has entered the chat and has some amazing things going on musically for him as well.
Oh yeah, the album We Don't Trust You with Metro Boomin went platinum.
I know that's right, Future.
Hey, one time for Future.
I know that's right. Now, I expected nothing less of Future, let's be clear. And him and Metro Boomin together and what that project did, how that project continued to just grow its own legs. I think that they intended for it to be as big as it was, but I don't think that anybody in the camps was able to truly anticipate the mayhem that went on around all of it, type of thing. But
I'm glad that it was able to make it to platinum status after all of the smoke had cleared.
Yeah.
Because if it only would have did good during that time, then it would have felt like that's all it was good for.
Yeah.
For some controversy. But the fact that the album continued to grow, bypass the drama, it honestly was a good body of work. And I listened to it and I liked it actually.
Yeah, I agree. It deserves the platinum.
All right, so we cannot move on without talking about Coco Gauff, the American tennis player who is now one of the top earning athletes in the sports world today amongst females, next to Naomi Osaka and Serena Williams. That is big. And she's only 20 years old, by the way.
Period. 20?
20.
That's insane.
20. Now, I think all the way around, this is a big up for female athletes in general because this year has grossed more money for female athletes than previous years alone. And so I think women had a year in 2024. When we talk about a good way to wrap up the year, women in sports definitely showed out this year.
I'm so here for that. I'm just so here for Coco name just coming back up in general because I feel like she really got on the radar for a lot of people like me who wasn't aware of who she was around the Olympics time. And since then, all we hear is Coco this, Coco that, Coco this, Coco that. So that's amazing. And for her being 20.
Right.
20 is insane. Like, girl, you're on fire. Like, this girl is on fire. Alicia Keys' voice.
This girl is on fire.
Thank you.
You know, you can count on me to sing.
We love it. We love it. So, yeah, that's definitely for the culture as women are running sports right now, guys. It's called Boot Up, baby. If y'all got a problem with it, just get in the field.
Definitely for the culture.
That's it. The girls is kind of winning in more ways than one. Musically, sports, entertainment, culture, clickbait, no shade. Just saying, you know, the girls are winning, and I'm here for it.
I'm here for it. I'm here for the ladies. So that wraps up another great episode of Cultural Clickbait. And I'm your boy, Dante.
And I'm your girl, Doechii.
And y'all know what we do every week. We take the hottest topics in sports, music, and entertainment, and we decide if it's for the culture
or simply for clicks.
Make sure y'all subscribe us on YouTube at the HBUC. Yeah.